Good evening. Welcome to Unity this evening. Welcome everyone that's joining us on live stream. We're so happy to have you with us. So let's just start by saying an opening prayer and coming into the presence of this holy space, letting the world stay outside of these doors and just connecting with our breath and our heart. Spirit, we're grateful to be sitting here tonight in community meditation. We are all open and receptive to listen to the answers of this spiritual realm for the questions that we have. We're open to divine guidance in feeling, in hearing, in seeing. We're grateful for this time to remember the divine nature within each and every one of us and a direct connection with you. And to this we say, Amen. 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 I just wanted to give you a couple announcements before I get started. We have a really wonderful opportunity for you this Sunday. Our sermon at 11, which we only have 11 o'clock service right now, will be given by Sue Frederick, who is an author of over 6 books, amazing public speaker, and she is also a channeler and speaks to people that have crossed over. So she's really a really neat, really amazing lady. She'll be teaching a workshop on Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m., and it's called Proof of the Divine. And it's $45, and it's from 1 to 3 p.m. And you can register online at unityofboulder.com under classes or workshops. So that's a great opportunity that's coming up. And then we have a really special meditation next week that will be different than anything you've ever experienced. It's going to be led by Ed Bruder. So you don't want to miss that. And then coming up a month down the road here, Welcome Back Sunday, which for those of you that have been here on Sundays, we thank you. But Welcome Back Sunday is usually kind of placed around the time children go back to school, and it tends to be a church season, kind of follows the school season. So we'll be back at 9 and 11 on the 22nd of August. But the big festivities will be happening at the second service, where we will have open house tours. There's going to be a potluck barbecue, field games, a jumpy castle, garden tours. And for any of you that would like to get a blessing, it's like a christening on your dog or cat or horse or any animal. That's taking place during the barbecue. So you guys will be having some entertainment that Jack and I will be putting on by blessing these beautiful animals. And it'll be the official start of the youth program, so that's ages 3 years old all the way up to 18. And all of the youth program happens during the second service. So join us for that. Put that on your calendar, and for those of you that have been observing us on live stream, we invite you to come back and really, be with the community. It's wonderful to be able to watch it online, but those that have been coming back recently, they'll say to me, I forgot how wonderful it felt to sit with other like-minded people and share after the service and just to be with one another. So we're trying to encourage you to come back in, and if you want to wear masks and feel more comfortable with that, that's fine too. Whatever makes you feel comfortable and feel held here at Unity. So, this morning, I was heading into work and Mike was driving, and we drove by the biggest coyote I have ever seen. It was sitting in this field. It was the thickest, it was almost wolf-like big, with the most beautiful hair, which I've never really seen coyotes with beautiful hair. They always kind of have that kind of a rough look, but this is the thickest, healthiest, most beautiful coyote, and it was sitting with the wind blowing, and you know how their faces look like they're smiling, like the little eyes are all soft and smiling into the wind. I said, "Oh, Mike, I just saw the biggest coyote." He didn't see 'cause he was driving. I said, oh my gosh, we got some coyote medicine. We have to figure out what that means today. So I looked it up when we got to Boulder. And it said this: the wisdom of the sacred fool is a tricky, uncanny medicine that can neither be sought nor avoided. It trips you when you think you're steady and deserts you as you wobble for support. As we expound and pontificate about the meaning of life, we may be getting a parking ticket and we may have let the soup boil over. The coyote spirit animal totem is an invitation to laugh at whatever obstacles come your way. Laughter is a test of grace, and grace is the ability to drop a plan before that plan drags you under and grinds you up. The coyote is all about adapting, pivoting when needed, flowing through change and not resisting it, and finding laughter in the mundaneness of it all. And I thought, wow, what kind of a day are we going to have today with that? But I liked it because it went on to talk about how coyotes have adapted to the point where they live in cities. They live everywhere. They obviously started in nature, but they've learned how to survive in any circumstance in rural areas and city areas, and their adaptability is really powerful. That's why they've thrived. And I thought about that, with all that's going on in the world right now, and if there's ever been a time that we're constantly finding ourselves pivoting or adapting, or at least hopefully we are, unless we're resisting, and then we're probably having a really hard time right now, right? So it's about adapting and pivoting, and can we do that with grace, to be able to have laughter about it instead of getting down on life and feeling like it's difficult. And, we're watching right now why we could have another lockdown. Who knows, where we're headed. And if we're meditating up and doing our spiritual work, hopefully we're kind of centered in the eye of the storm regardless of circumstances, right? They say to pray is to talk to God, and to meditate is to listen. So maybe bring something to your mind right now that you have questions about, that you would, maybe a little prayer for your meditation today, that you'd like to receive some clarity and answers. And if it doesn't come in the meditation, know that it will come in a dream tonight. Being open to the signs and symbols of spirit. So I was talking to a friend the other day, and she's doing all sorts of fixing of her house, and contractors keep not showing up. It's just been really a nightmare, and she's talking about it and so negative about it. And I was just talking my language that I talk, and I don't self-observe very often. And she said at one point, how come you have so much faith that God's going to take care of everything? And I was like, I don't know why I do. But I do. When we build our strength in this greater power, we rely on it. We lean on it. We feed that spiritual being in ourselves. And when I see a coyote, or I see a rabbit, or I see something happen, I know spirit is communicating something with me. And I did have kind of a day today where it was obstacles. There were obstacles. And it's like, oh, I have to pivot. I have to Tai Chi this. And I need to find humor in it. And I've always been good at finding humor in the dismal. It's kind of our family's nature. New Yorkers tend to have that, that sarcasm that you just laugh at the absolute, all the mundaneness of life, or the whatever. We laugh that God has a sense of humor, right? God does have a sense of humor. There's things that happen, you just think, I could not have planned that way, that person to show up after that, The universe is honorable, but it's also doesn't mean that life is easy. It's really about our disposition and how we face good circumstances, hard circumstances, and all the stuff in between. Eric Butterworth puts this really well in his book, Discovering the Power Within You. He says, "You may say, but I am only human. This is the understatement of your life. You are not only human, you are also divine in potential. The fulfillment of all your goals and aspirations in life depends upon stirring up and releasing more of that divine potential. And there is really nothing difficult about letting this inner light shine. All we must do is correct the tendency to turn off our light when we face darkness." All we must do is correct the tendency to turn off the light when we face darkness. So, I wonder if, you've ever really decided to look at life through a lens that everything that is happening is a spiritual experience. Everything. The road rage, the child crying all night, or marriage is difficult, and looking that there's a divine potential in everything, and something in it is there for you. Every little penny that you find or feather in your way, that you know that that was laid there perfectly for you with a message. You can really take life and make it hard, or see it from a hard point of view, or you can meditate yourself up every day. Get into the lens of the eagle view, the view that sees it from the bigger picture. This bigger picture that is all for you, regardless of how hard it is. It's for you. And watching for the signs and symbols of every minute, every conversation. All of this came to me from God. All of it. When we can sit in a place where we live our life from that point of view, you will have mystical, out-of-body experiences. You will have moments where you feel lightning bolts down your body when spirit is communicating with you. When you believe it, you will see it. Which is the opposite than what we usually say is we have to see it to believe it. We have to believe we can be healed for us to heal. We have to believe that we can grow, or we can change, or we can forgive, or we have to believe that that's possible, and then it will happen. We just have to believe that about other people too, right? I was talking about karma a few weeks ago, and I think it's an important point because we tend to think, oh, well, maybe this hard thing is happening because I must have done something to deserve it. And I want to read what Edgar Cayce says about karma for us to realize that that's not actually how karma works. This is from Edgar Cayce. It says, another key component from the readings is the idea of karma. The word karma is a Sanskrit term that means work, deed, or act. It has often been interpreted to mean cause and effect. The readings define the idea of karma as soul memory, a pool of information that the subconscious mind draws upon and can utilize in the present. For example, an individual may meet a person and feel an instant liking or disliking for that person, for no apparent reason. A subconscious memory may be at the root cause of this initial reaction, but it's also important to remember that we have control through free will of what we think and how we act on it. The reading indicates that there really isn't karma between people. Instead, there is karma with one's self. this karma within oneself. It is an interesting dynamic that we often meet ourselves through our relationships with others. And it is how we decide to meet self that will essentially determine our life's experiences. And one of the greatest spiritual virtues is to know thyself. And in my experience, learning more of myself and knowing myself didn't come from the Shangri-La happy moments in my life. It was when life had me down on my knees, begging for help in difficult and heartbreaking and grief experiences. But to know thyself is freedom, because then we are ourselves. And we are now becoming that essence that God, we were made in the image of God, and now we live from being that image of God in action. Love in action. Love for self in action. Loving kindness in and out. Adding to that vibration that's healing this world, not destroying it. And so if you are dealing with difficult people at this time or difficult situations, to step back and meditate more and stop talking and giving power to the negativity and speaking to the power and the spiritual abilities that you have, and stop seeing yourself as human first, but your divine potential is first. Your divine potential in this moment can shift everything. Sometimes we just have to get out of our own ego's way and let Spirit flow us and grow us. There's a great tool that I teach in my prosperity classes. The first day of the class, I tell them that they can make a list now of everything that they don't want in their lives anymore. But then you're not allowed to speak to it ever again. And people, pages, pages of stuff that you can't even, and it's usually people, and it's difficult situations. It's situations of not having enough money and just talking about the bank accounts never being enough. It's never enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. And their homework with that piece of paper, they basically get to take a picture of it with their mind's eye, and then they have to tear it up when they leave. Whenever any of the thoughts of limitation or lack of whatever, or unhappiness, lack of forgiveness, that they are to bless the situation. To bless absolutely everybody, every circumstance, every situation. And even if they had to fake it with like a growly blessing, it's better than not blessing, right? So it's kind of like sometimes we have to fake it to make it. We're even blessing with somebody with like I still don't want to bless that person. But eventually you'll find it roll off your tongue, and it feels good to bless them, because it's so much work to be unhappy with them and be in an unhappy place about them and feeling the disturbance and the vibration lowering energy that happens when we're unhappy with other people. So the dictionary explains why there is dynamic powers for good in the simple act of blessing. To bless means to make holy or whole by spoken word. To bless means to ask divine favor for some situation or condition. Such a simple act, such a simple practice. You know, I was saying at my talk, it was the power of thank you 2 weeks ago. Those 2 words can change your life. And blessing can also change your life. Because you know, when we sit in meditation, and sometimes our minds just want to take over because there's so much to do that day, and we start to micromanage the day instead of actually clearing the mind. So when those agitations are coming up, in the beginning of the meditation, you just send a blessing and see them go. And bless it and go. Another trick that my dad taught me that I think is very, very helpful. When your mind is all busy and you're dealing with anxiousness because you're doing too much, we're all expected to do way too much, honestly, at least I think I am expected to do too much right now, but we just have emails and texts and cell phones, and there's just a way to get us no matter where. I mean, now my car, I don't even know how to unhook it, but my stereo rings when people are calling me now. And I'm like, get away from me. Let me have a minute in my car and drive, you know what I mean? But even that's like, you got 6 texts and it's got a computer now. It's telling me all these things I got to get, and it's like, So to be able to bless things. So when you're meditating and the mind starts to do its chatter and its dribble and its things that it's doing, my dad would say, pretend there's a street in front of you. And all the articles that are coming up in your mind, it's Dansras, and you got to get somebody somewhere in Longmont at 5, but the other one has to be somewhere at 5:15. It's just an impossibility, and you're trying to manage, how am I going to... He said, you just place it on the parade of your life, and you let it be a parade that's passing. And you can see it passing, but you don't grab onto any of it. It gives your brain something to do because it's having a hard time stopping the monkey chatter, as Sue Frederick calls it, or monkey mind. You just let it be part of the Santisha parade or the Sandy parade or the Ed parade, right? And you don't grab on, and before you know it, it becomes a blur. And it really does. And then you can finally go into meditation. That one's always worked for me really, really well. Or blessing when you're having anxiety around a circumstance like work or marriage, and you wake up in the middle of the night. Does anybody ever have that where you wake up and it's like, I get this stress and I'm panicking about it. Blessing, just like people count sheep to try to get back to sleep, sending blessings to all those people actually make you go back to sleep, because now you're not triggered. You're not attaching to the unhappiness in that relationship. You're attaching to being a vessel of prayer for someone. So with that said, I'm just going to take us into just a get gratitude meditation. When you can't do anything else, saying thank you can make all the difference in your life. They say the happiest people that live the longest are people that say thank you for the life that they already have. Not for the life that they want someday, but in the moment, already believe they have everything. So let's just close our eyes and get our sit bones on the seat, and don't let those pews support you too much. It's kind of good to get your back straight, to get that clear vehicle between Father Sky and Mother Earth. Steve, do you have any nice quiet music to play underneath? And we'll just close our eyes and just start focusing on our breath in and out with a and in. Just letting your body become oxygenated, cleansing every cell of the body. Taking this time to clear any impurities out of your mind, body, and spirit. And a wonderful way to do this is to visualize that a light is coming out of the sky and coming down and entering through your third eye, which is located just above your eyebrows in the middle of your forehead. And as this light comes into your third eye, it just starts to fill your head, surrounding your brain, and clearing any fogginess out of that brain, any thought patterns that aren't serving you, and just relaxing the brain and letting it be at peace and quiet right now. And now see this light coming down and filling in your face, behind your eyes, your nose, filling in through your ears to the back of your head, into your jaw and your mouth. And just really let your mouth relax. Any tension in your tongue or your cheeks. And breathing ever so beautifully, getting that breath in your body and relaxing everything about your eyebrows and every part of your face. And now visualize this light coming down and filling your throat all the way up, taking any tension out of your neck, anything you're holding in your shoulders, and filling in your back and your front, surrounding your heart, flowing down into your hands, arms and hands, and down your whole body cavities, surrounding all of your organs, cleaning them, clearing them. Any toxicity or anything that's not serving your body, this light is pushing it down. All of it is going to eventually leave through your feet. Fill your root chakra, which is where you're sitting, and into your legs. This light is just pulsating through your whole body now, through your legs, to your knees, relaxing your hips and your knees and your calves and your ankles. And now the light is leaving your feet and entering the ground, taking any impurity that it grabbed, any mental impairment that you've been holding, anything that's not serving you is going into the ground. That light is pushing it deep down into the ground and out of your body. And see that light going down 16 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet, until you come across a massive boulder made of amethyst. And we're going to let that light now swirl around this amethyst deep in Mother Earth's healing energy, clearing any of those impurities out of your being. Everything that came out of your body is down there being completely repurposed and brought to pure cleansing. And now we're going to see a pink light coming out of this amethyst and start climbing up Father Sky's energy, twisting around. So this white is now anchored down in the amethyst, and this pink light is coming up from Mother Earth, going 15 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet, until it eventually enters the bottom of your feet. And it's moving now up your legs, knees, hips, all of your organs, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your stomach, heading up into your throat, filling into your arms. Feeling this pink light going up, filling up your face. This powerful, psychic, intuitive energy that Mother Earth gives us that opens us up to greater sight, greater foresight on what is needed, what is wanted, what is necessary for every aspect of your life And now see this pink light leaving out the third eye and climbing up Father Sky's energy into the sky. And now you are completely anchored between Father Sky and Mother Earth. The male and the female is joined as one. In all the divine aspects of the masculine and all the divine aspects of the feminine are pulsating and moving in and through your body. Now I thought we could come up with a few things that we're thankful for. We flip a switch and light appears. We turn a tap and clean, drinkable water flows. We adjust a thermostat and a room grows warmer or cooler. We have a roof to keep us dry when it rains, walls to keep out the cold wind, windows to let in the light, screens to keep out insects. We enter a vehicle and it takes us where we want to go. We have access to machines that wash our clothes. We have public libraries that have thousands of books that we can borrow. And now would be a good time to consider the people and the pets you know who enrich your life. Those who smile at you and cheer you on. Those family, friends, acquaintances, colleagues, and peers. Those ancestors who worked so you could live well. Those friends who support you when you need a shoulder or a hand. There's so much to feel gratitude for in this moment. Gratitude fills our hearts and minds, uplifting our spirits. And now, turn it inward to gratitude for self, for all that growth, all those sacrifices, all that love. All that you do. Thank yourself and recognize all that beauty that you give to others and yourself. And now I'm gonna let the music keep playing and we'll just go into silence, and we can clear our mind, just have light, or stay in a state of gratitude. And as we come back into this room, we'll visualize that the light from Father Sky is now going to completely go into our third eye and close the third eye. And the pink energy from the ground is going to go into the bottom of our feet, and we're going to close the bottom of the feet, keeping you in touch with your abilities, but also keeping you safe so nothing else can enter your being. And while we've received this time of self-care and love from Spirit, let's make ourselves channels of blessings for others at this time. And see this light visualizing this wood box right here that's had names submitted all week. That we see everyone in there, that they have been healed in body, mind, and spirit, surrounding them with light and knowing only good is coming. And we can take this next minute and call out names of our own loved ones that we would like to say a prayer for today, and we'll do that now. we can see this light surrounding our entire planet, bringing healing to our own planet. Visualizing COVID leaving and health being restored to all people, mind, body, and spirit, and harmony being restored in the hearts and minds of all people. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. And the presence of God watches over you. And wherever you are, God is. Amen. And we will take an offering for unity now, if I could get some offering takers. Here we go, great. And while we're getting our offerings together, we thank you for tithing online and taking care of this center so that it may still bring healing to this world and to the people in it. So let's take our offerings in our hands and bless it with this offering statement. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive because I give. And if you don't see a way to tithe online, you can go to unityofboulder.com and go to the bottom of the homepage and hit donate. And now your special music will be coming to you from Josh Grubin.
Give up. It's just the weight of the world. When your heart's heavy, I will lift it for you. Don't give up, because you want to be heard. If silence keeps you, I will break it for you. Everybody wants to be understood.
Music going, and have a blessed drive home. I love you all. Thank you for being here, and thank you all for joining us tonight. You can keep the music going, Steve.